Where are we?
Union Square Green Market. We're about to go to see what's out here and maybe make something at Prima a little later.
Do you have any ideas?
Nah, it's kind of just depending on what we find. Try and taste some things and see what ideas we come up with, and we'll just go from there. Wednesday was the first night of dinner service at Prima, and so I'll come here and just try and do shopping for the week and see what new produce is here, taste some stuff, see what's coming into season. And there's a farm that's usually here that I really like. Halal Pastures Farm. They grow amazing stuff at this farm. As you can see, they have a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, you guys are the first people that come to see when I come to the market. We're gonna pickle these, and I'll get a good amount so that it's a pickle, so should keep. And I've been really into thinking about preservation of stuff a lot. So these tomatillos, they have so much sugar, they're sticky. It's so good. But I'm gonna roast those whole squashes, and then I'm gonna get a couple of these tomatoes, and I'm just gonna chop the shit out of them and then put them in the oven. My name is Nate Cox. I'm from Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York. I started cooking when I was 19 years old, so about 10 years now.
So spinach dip is, I kind of just needed a dip at Prima. The spinach gets blanched and then dropped into ice water, and that's just to soften it so it's not raw. I usually blanch it just until the stems kind of wilt. When if I try to bend it, they just kind of bend and they don't break. And blanching it also helps keep the spinach dip itself really green. So then once I have my onion cream that's cooled, and then I have my blanched spinach, I put both of those things into a food processor with Maldon salt and lemon juice, and then a little bit of olive oil. The spinach dip gets garnished with olive oil on the plate, so I don't need to add a lot more fat. And then for the plate up, it just goes onto the plate in a circle, and then some olive oil around the rim. I like the way it looks. It makes it look like it's glowing a little bit. You serve it with crackers that I make at Prima also. They're very simple water crackers.
I was working at a cafe in Soho right out of high school. It was that summer. As a runner, and it was a slow afternoon, and the kitchen manager asked me to either help him peel tomatoes or to go home, and I wanted the hour, so I just went into the kitchen and helped him peel tomatoes, and he told me to make him gazpacho, and I had never heard of it before. And he said it was a cold tomato soup, so I was like, isn't that just I don't know, ketchup or something like that? And it made me think that a soup could be cold, the food could be anything.
The batch of preserves, they were pickled garlic scapes, pickled green beans, lacto-fermented Romano beans, and then pickled eggplant in oil. Vinegar and water with salt and sugar. You just heat it up and you pour it over the vegetables, and then those had the addition of similar spices, just in different quantities of mustard seed, peppercorns, coriander, fennel seeds, and lemon peel. And those, they just kind of hot vinegar and water with the spices just gets poured over them, and then just allow them to sit for a couple of days, and then those feel like pretty standard. The squash dish, that was more of a freestyle. I ran it as a special that week. But it was honey nut squash with tomato and peanut. And so what I did was roast squashes whole, and then the bottom half, which is the section that has the seeds, the flesh is a little bit thinner in that area, and so I would cut them in half, and I'll cut that seeded part out, the seeds get thrown away, but then that got blended up with the skins. And then the top part, which has a little bit more structure, those got cut into bite-sized pieces. And then from that bottom section, I use it to kind of make a sauce that I use to coat the top part of the squash. It's after blending, it goes into a pot, and then with some spices and chopped up tomato. I wanted the tomato to retain a little bit of texture. For the plate up, it was just the pieces of squash that were dressed in that kind of squash and tomato sauce, and after they get coated, I put a ton of crushed crispy peanuts on the outside, and so it's like a little bit of added texture. Yeah, and then just garnish with some chives for a little bit of the onion flavor. Saltfish fritters, classic West Indian snack. You see them at almost every party. They're not difficult to come by. I find that they are difficult to come by made well. So when I make them, I try to make it mostly fish, and it gets mixed with fresh seasoning, red bell pepper, scallions, onions. You have the flour and allspice, and then a certain portion of water. I make the mayo in a food processor, standard, with egg yolks, mustard, salt, lemon, and oil, really slowly to make the emulsion. Just add a Scotch bonnet pepper. It's not cooked or anything. It's kind of like hot sauce, so it starts off really, really, really hot, and then as it sits for a little bit, it starts to mellow out, and you get a more well-rounded flavor.